The first thing I notice is the silence. Not the respectful hush of mourners in black or the distant birdsong that usually softens the edges of a graveyard. No, this silence is jagged, broken, the kind that presses on your chest until you can barely breathe. I stand beside the open grave, staring at the white casket that looks far too small for a 13-year-old girl who once filled every corner of my life with laughter. Leela Monroe, my daughter, my only child. The pastor's voice blurs as if he's speaking from underwater. I can only hear echoes, phrases like taken too soon and God's mysterious plan. None of it reaches me. None of it touches the raw wound that has replaced my heart. 8 days ago, a drunk driver ignored a red light. 8 days ago, the world split into before and after. Before, I was a mother. After, I am an empty shell standing beside a grave. I try to focus on the details, anything to keep from screaming. The lilies placed carefully on the coffin, the squeak of the pulley lowering her down, the way my hands won't stop trembling no matter how tightly I press them together. What I can't focus on, what I refuse to focus on, is the absence. My parents aren't here. My brother Daniel isn't here. Instead of standing beside me, they're 3 miles away at the Harborview Country Club, celebrating Daniel's promotion to partner at some law firm I've never cared about. I saw the photos on Facebook this morning, champagne glasses raised high, my parents glowing with pride. Family first, the caption read. I almost smashed my phone against the wall. Family first, except when it came to Leela. Only one person stands beside me now. Mrs. Green, my elderly neighbor, her fragile hand resting gently on my arm. She baked casseroles when Leela was in the hospital last winter with pneumonia. She checked in when I was too exhausted from grading essays to make dinner. She loved my daughter without needing to. They should have come, she whispers, her voice heavy with indignation. I can't speak. I just shake my head, staring at the ground because if I look at her kind eyes, I'll collapse. The worker glances at me, waiting for my signal. Am I supposed to nod? To allow this to end? I can't. My knees buckle, and for a second, I think I'll fall right into the grave beside her. I kneel instead, placing the bracelet Leela made for me, plastic beads strung on an elastic cord, on top of her coffin. Her small hands threaded each bead with stubborn determination last Christmas. I'll keep you with me, I whisper, and I'll protect what's yours. The words come without thought, instinctive, like a promise being carved into stone. Mrs. Green steadies me as I rise. You're not alone, Rachel, she says softly. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. I nod, though my chest still feels like it's collapsing inward. Hours later, when the mourners have left and the grave has been covered, I drive home in silence. The passenger seat is empty. No backpack spilling with books, no headphones tangled like a nest of wires, no Leela singing along to songs she pretended not to like. At home, I collapse onto her bed, clutching her pillow, inhaling the faint scent of her strawberry shampoo. I don't know how long I lie there before my phone buzzes on the nightstand. It's a text from my mother. We need to meet tomorrow. Bring Leela's insurance paperwork. I stare at the words, my chest tightening. Insurance paperwork? My daughter hasn't even been in the ground for 12 hours. Another message arrives before I can respond. Don't be difficult, Rachel. This is important for the family. The same family who toasted Daniel's career while their granddaughter's casket was lowered into the ground. Something cold cuts through the fog of grief. For the first time since the accident, I feel not just sorrow but suspicion. I text back, fingers trembling. Not tonight, I just buried my daughter. The response comes instantly. Stop being dramatic. Daniel has already spoken to the lawyer. Just bring the documents. I drop the phone like it's burned me. For months, my ex-husband Alex and I had set up a college fund for Leela, $600,000, financed partly through his company's insurance policy. If anything happens, he'd said before moving overseas for work, this will take care of Leela, or you if she doesn't make it. He couldn't have known how soon those words would matter. Now my family wants it. I stumble into the kitchen, hands shaking so badly I can barely pour water. The betrayal is suffocating. They couldn't show up for Leela's last breath, her last service, but they're united in trying to strip away the only thing left that connects me to her. Her legacy. Mrs. Green knocks on my door an hour later, holding a casserole dish as if grief can be softened with food. I let her in, collapsing at the table, pushing my phone toward her. She reads the messages, her lips tightening into a thin line. Oh, Rachel, she says, they can't possibly think? They do, I cut in, my voice flat, and they've been planning this. I can feel it. Her hand rests over mine, warm and steady. Then you fight, you protect what's hers. You're stronger than you know. The next morning, I drive to my parents' sprawling house in Oakwood Estates. My stomach churns as I park behind Daniel's gleaming BMW. Through the window, I glimpse them gathered in the living room, papers spread across the coffee table like a war council. My father opens the door before I can knock, his smile practiced, his tone falsely warm. Rachel, good, come in, we've been waiting. The air inside feels heavy, suffocating. My mother hovers by the mantelpiece, Daniel sprawls on the sofa, and their lawyer sits primly in an armchair. Not one of them mentions Leela. Not one says they're sorry. Instead, Daniel taps a stack of papers. Let's be practical. You're not in the right state of mind to handle this money. Sign here and I'll manage it as trustee. Trustee. He says it like it's his birthright. I stare at the line where they expect my signature, then look up at their expectant faces. And for the first time since the accident, I feel a spark of something stronger than grief. Rage. Daniel pushes the papers toward me, his pen already uncapped, poised like he's signing away my future for me. Rachel, this is the responsible thing, he says, his lawyerly cadence dripping with condescension. You're grieving, unstable. You shouldn't be making financial decisions in this condition. I stare at him, then at the bold heading on the document. Petition for transfer of beneficiary funds. My throat tightens, but I force myself to breathe slowly. You want me to hand over Leela's trust fund, I say flatly. The money Alex set aside for her future, for her college, for her life. Now that she's gone, you want to control it. My mother shifts uncomfortably, her pearl necklace catching the morning light. It's not like that, Rachel. It's about protecting the family's assets. You've always been impulsive. The word slices through me. Impulsive. The same word she used when I wanted to study art instead of accounting, when I divorced Alex instead of making it work, when I spent hours with Leela at dance rehearsals instead of networking at her social club. My father clears his throat. We're offering stability. Think of Victoria's Fund for the Arts. He gestures toward Daniel. He knows how to manage these things, you don't. A flash of memory blindsides me, my father laughing at one of Leela's school plays, calling it cute, but hardly worth missing a board meeting for. That's all she ever was to them, a charming accessory when convenient. I slide the papers back across the table, my hands steady now. No, the room freezes. Daniel recovers first, his lips curling into a smirk. Rachel, you don't understand. If you refuse, we'll have no choice but to petition the court for guardianship over your affairs. It's already in motion. The lawyer clears his throat softly. Given recent events, a case could be made that you're emotionally compromised. Emotionally compromised. As if grief for my dead child disqualified me from being human, let alone competent. I push my chair back and stand. You didn't come to Leela's funeral, I say, my voice trembling with fury. Not one of you. But here you are, less than 24 hours later, circling like vultures. My mother stiffens. Don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic, I snap. I'm seeing clearly for the first time. I grab the folder of papers and walk out before they can stop me. The drive home is a blur, my mind racing faster than the rain streaking down my windshield. Guardianship, that's their angle. If they can paint me as unstable, they can seize control of Leela's trust and use it however they please. I think of the photos from Daniel's promotion party. $1,200 bottles of champagne, my mother dripping in designer clothes, my father raising a glass like a conquering general. This isn't about protecting me. This is about debt, appearances, greed. I call Alex. The line clicks, his voice tinny from thousands of miles away. Rachel, how are you holding up? The question breaks something inside me. My breath hitches, but I push through. Alex, it's the trust. My family's trying to take it. A pause, then his voice hardens. I knew they'd try something. Listen, Rachel, the trust has protections. Richard Donovan, the attorney who helped me set it up, call him. He knows every detail. Richard Donovan, I repeat, scribbling the name on a napkin with shaking hands. And Rachel? His voice softens. That money, it's for you. For whatever future you can build after this. Don't let them take it. When the call ends, I collapse into a chair, staring at the napkin. For the first time since Leela's death, I feel something like direction. A path forward. That evening, Mrs. Green knocks, holding a thermos of tea. She takes one look at my face and doesn't ask. She just listens as I pour out the entire story. When I finish, she sets the thermos down with deliberate calm. You need allies, she says. People who saw what you went through, who can vouch for you when they try to smear your name. I don't have anyone, I whisper. She raises her brows. Nonsense. What about the school principal, the nurses at the hospital, your colleagues who watched you juggle teaching full-time while caring for Leela? Her words spark something. She's right. My family may have power, but I have witnesses, people who saw the truth. I'll help you, Mrs. Green continues. I kept journals, every meal I brought, every night I stayed with Leela so you could shower. They want to claim you were unstable? We'll show them who really stood by that child. I grip her hand, gratitude choking me. Thank you. Don't thank me, she says, eyes fierce. Thank Leela. She made me family the first time she ran across the lawn and asked me to braid her hair. The next morning, I sit in Richard Donovan's office, clutching the folder like a lifeline. The room smells faintly of leather and old books, heavy with the weight of serious battles fought here. Richard is older than I expected, silver hair, sharp eyes behind reading glasses. He scans the trust documents with practiced efficiency, lips tightening as he reads. They've already contacted me, he says finally, setting the papers down. Your brother called 2 weeks ago, asking about transfer provisions. Your parents too? 2 weeks ago, before the accident, the realization hits me like a punch to the chest. They were planning even before Leela was gone. They have no legal standing, Richard continues. The trust is ironclad. Ethan was meticulous, but they'll try another route, claiming you're incompetent due to grief. Guardianship? I swallow hard. They're already threatening it. Then we prepare. He leans forward, eyes steady. We gather documentation, your role in Leela's care, your employment history, witness statements. We don't just defend, we dismantle their credibility. His words slice through my fear, leaving something sharper in its place: resolve. That night, I sit at Leela's desk, spreading hospital bills, school letters, and insurance statements across the surface. Each document feels like a weapon forged from pain. I print out text messages, my mother dismissing Leela's symptoms as Rachel being overdramatic, Daniel refusing to visit the hospital because sick kids are depressing. I saved screenshots of their Facebook posts, their laughter at parties while I slept in plastic hospital chairs. By midnight, I've built a paper fortress around me. Proof. When exhaustion finally drags me to bed, I whisper to the empty room, they won't take this from us, Leela. I promise. And for the first time since the accident, I believe myself. The courthouse smells faintly of disinfectant and coffee. My heels click against the marble floor as I walk beside Richard, his leather briefcase swinging with the weight of every document we've collected. My stomach churns, but my hands are steady. Across the aisle, Daniel and my parents sit like royalty in exile, expensively dressed, faces arranged into masks of grief and concern. To anyone who doesn't know better, they look like heroes sacrificing their reputation to save me. But I know better, and today I'll make sure the judge does too. All rise for the Honorable Judge Keller, the bailiff announces. Judge Keller enters, a woman with silver hair pulled into a no-nonsense bun. Her eyes sweep the room, sharp and impatient. I understand the petitioners are seeking emergency guardianship over Miss Rachel Morgan on the grounds of mental incompetence following the loss of her daughter. We'll hear arguments. Their attorney, a sleek man in a charcoal suit, rises. Your Honor, my clients are here today out of love. They've watched their daughter and sister spiral into grief so profound it clouds her judgment. Financial records show overdrafts. Witnesses testify to erratic behavior. They fear for her well-being and for the future of her late daughter's trust. Every word lands like a punch, painting me as a fragile, broken woman who needs to be protected from herself. Melissa takes the stand first. My former friend, the one who once braided Leela's hair during hospital visits, now twisting the knife. She called me crying at 3 in the morning, saying she couldn't breathe because she thought Leela's fever meant the end, Melissa says, her voice trembling with practiced sympathy. I told her to calm down, but she was hysterical. I honestly feared for her mental state. I close my eyes, remembering that night, the beeping machines, Leela's small body trembling with fever. I had reached for my phone because I couldn't hold the fear alone, and Melissa had answered, only to turn that moment into a weapon now. When my mother takes the stand, she dabs at tears with a tissue. Rachel has always been sensitive. We've done everything to help her, but she resists our guidance. This isn't about money, it's about saving our daughter from herself. Their performance is nearly flawless. The judge's expression softens as she listens. My chest tightens, they're winning. Then Richard rises, his voice calm but commanding. Your Honor, grief can make anyone vulnerable, but what we've just heard is not evidence of incompetence. It's evidence of a mother who loved her daughter enough to feel deeply. And now we'll present the truth. He calls Angela first. She steps to the witness stand with her journals in hand, her silver hair pinned neatly, her voice steady. I lived next door to Rachel and Leela for 15 years, she begins. When Leela was diagnosed, Rachel never left her side. I brought meals because Rachel refused to step away from the hospital. I documented everything. She holds up her journals. Dates, times, meals, hospital visits. If Rachel is unstable, then every mother who fights for her sick child is unstable too. Whispers ripple through the courtroom. Next, the hospital administrator testifies, confirming that Victoria, my mother, accessed Leela's medical records illegally. The judge's brows knit together, displeasure flashing in her eyes. Then Richard plays the recording from the coffee shop meeting, their voices captured clearly. Once the guardianship is approved, we can settle Victoria's mortgage situation. And the beach house repairs. We can use the money however we want. The courtroom goes silent. My mother's face drains of color. Daniel shifts in his seat, jaw tight. Finally, Richard plays the recording from Victoria's late night visit to my house. Her voice, sharp and venomous, echoes through the speakers. You were always the burden. We carried you your entire life. Now it's time you did something for this family. I don't look at her as it plays. I keep my eyes on the judge, who listens with a face carved from stone. When it's my turn to testify, my legs feel like lead, but I walk to the stand and place my hand on the Bible. I cared for Leela through every stage of her illness, I say, my voice trembling but strong. I slept in hospital chairs, I fought with insurance companies, I researched treatments late into the night. My family wasn't there, not once. They never visited her, not even in her final weeks. And now, they want her legacy. But this trust wasn't built for them. It was built for her, and for me to carry her memory forward. My throat tightens. I glance down at the silver locket resting against my chest, Leela's picture inside. I promised my daughter I would protect what's hers, and I intend to keep that promise. When I step down, Angela squeezes my hand. After closing arguments, Judge Keller leans back, steepling her fingers. The silence stretches until it feels unbearable. Finally, she speaks. This court finds no basis for emergency guardianship. In fact, what I see is a coordinated attempt to exploit a grieving mother. The petition is dismissed with prejudice. Furthermore, I am ordering an investigation into potential perjury and privacy violations. The gavel slams. The sound echoes like thunder. It's over. My family erupts in protest, but the bailiff steps in, firm and unyielding. Richard places a steady hand on my shoulder. You won, Rachel. You protected Leela's legacy. Tears blur my vision, not of grief, but of relief. For the first time since the accident, I feel like I can breathe. Weeks later, I stand in the children's hospital, unveiling a plaque that reads, the Leela Morgan Memorial Fund for Pediatric Arts Therapy. Children paint at easels nearby, their laughter spilling into the hallway. A nurse explains how the fund will pay for art supplies, music programs, and therapy sessions for kids enduring long hospital stays. This is what Leela loved, I tell the gathered crowd. Art, color, imagination. She believed even the sickest days could be brightened with creativity. After the ceremony, Angela takes my arm. You turned her legacy into hope for others. She'd be proud. I look up at the painted mural of sunflowers on the wall, Leela's favorite flower. For the first time, thinking of her doesn't shatter me. It lifts me. My family may have tried to steal her memory for themselves, but I've transformed it into something untouchable. Something pure. As I leave the hospital, the autumn sun warms my face. I whisper to the wind, knowing somehow she hears me. We did it, Leela. We kept our promise. And for the first time in months, I smile.